Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Forbidden One. Thanks for your support. That said, let's get started.
Victory! The Stag Lord's dead, and the capital of the new barony has been built in place of his fort. That was how the long and challenging taming of the Stolen Lands began.
And welcome back to Kingmaker. Well, after 17 episodes, it's finally time to take a look at our kingdom. We've actually got a lot of ground to cover today, so we'll get right to it. Greetings, Baron. Greetings, Baron. Welcome, Your Grace. Keston salutes you. You can see he's a bit anxious, and it seems he'd rehearsed his speech many times. Let me once again congratulate you on your victory and your new title. Lady Jamandi transferred me here. I am at your disposal. I'm not one to bestow honors, but I want you to know I'm glad to serve you. I'm here to welcome you on behalf of your new capital's citizens. The Stag Lord's former stronghold will soon be a thriving city. Word travels fast, and the first settlers have already arrived, with new ones approaching as we speak. While you were visiting Restov, much has been done here. Your benefactors, the Aldori, invested a great deal of resources in rebuilding the city. I stand ready to answer your questions, and to show you around the most important sites. Where are my companions? They're all somewhere around here, but I never kept an eye on who went where exactly. Well, I assume Tristan is with Jod, and you can always find Lindsay. Just follow the noise and turmoil. Are there any citizens I should know about? Our old acquaintance Jod is right here. Erastil's clerics normally don't like cities much, but he's eager to serve you. Also, the emissary from Bravoy is here, waiting for you in the throne room. There's also this curious matter. An elf has paid us a visit. A blind elf. Desna only knows how he managed to get here. He seems a peaceful, even pleasant fellow, though naturally a little odd, so I let him stay a while. It's up to you to decide what to do with him now. That's about it, I guess. Keston scratches his head. What's the mood of the people here? I must admit, I've never seen anything like that my whole life. A city, a whole barony born right in front of our eyes. The people sense the moment, and today we're feeling proud. As a rule, I'm not too cheerful or chatty. I'd normally feel out of place among all the rejoicing, but today is just one of those days. I'm ready to look around the city. Lead the way. Follow me, Your Grace. Greetings, Your Grace. We are, well, your new subjects. We're selecting a site to build our house. It's wet near the lake and windy up here on the hill. A fine place to throw garbage at your neighbors' heads, though. Ouch! It's a good thing you got rid of those monsters and bandits, Your Grace. Do you recognize this place, Your Grace? This is where the Stag Lord's fortress wall used to be. Not that it saved him in the end, huh? Our workers did a fine job, turning this bandit den into the heart of the town. The heart of every town is its main square. We plan to hold street festivities and fairs here. Look, we already have our first vendor. Greetings, Your Grace. If you turn to the right from the square, you'll end up straight in our tavern. The tavern's ale is blessed by Caden Kalian himself, I swear. And the lady who owns it is a gem. Oh, that's all nonsense. Well, except for the part about breathing fire. All barons can breathe fire, trust me. Welcome, Your Grace. Glad to serve you. To be fair, I am an alchemist. I can breathe fire if I brew the right potion. Your Grace, those are our guards. They keep order in the city, or keep their mouths busy with gossip. Their commander is Captain Highland. He must be nearby. And here's the observation platform. I hope one day your capital will grow large enough that we won't be able to see to its full extent from this perch. The building ahead of us is your residence. That's where we'll head to now. So now we've reached the main chambers. This is the throne room, where you'll hold court and receive visitors. Let me draw your attention to this large map depicting your barony and its surroundings. We'll mark all the important scout reports and other news worthy of your Grace's attention. Having finished his speech, Keston tucks his thumbs under his belt and stands quietly. Greetings, Your Grace. Cecil, Lady Jamondi's ward, gives a polite bow. It was a pleasure to meet you at the Restov reception. On behalf of your allies and benefactors, the Aldori Sword Lords, I'd like to offer you some advice. You can solve most of your barony's problems by granting appointments to the right people, responsible people, but certain state business will demand your personal attention, as will visits of especially important guests. Reports of such outstanding events will be marked on your map. You can always check it while considering your plans. According to the ancient traditions of Brevoy and most of the River Kingdoms, rulers address affairs of state and receive visitors at the beginning of the month. My advice to you is to maintain this tradition and regularly visit your capital when needed. The first thing you should do as ruler is assign loyal people to all the important positions in your barony. Your clerics, Jod and Tristan, were the first to seek an audience. I won't distract you further, and I'll leave you to consider. Once again, my congratulations. May your rule be long and prosperous. Your Grace, allow me to congratulate you on receiving the title of Baron. I am confident that you will be able to bring order to these troubled lands. Jod stumbled slightly. Though, to be honest, that isn't exactly what we wanted to speak to you about. Tristan and I have been talking a great deal about what happened at the Temple of the Elk. It doesn't all make sense to us yet, but one thing is clear. There's a powerful curse at work. It corrupted the very essence of that sacred place, steeping it with putrescence. Ugh, I am disgusted with whoever could do this. Jod exhales loudly, catching his breath. And now there is a new woe. Tristan and I believe the curse did not simply disperse of its own accord. There is a place near the capital rumored by the locals to be cursed. Tristan and I visited this dreadful place, and we felt the same putrescence as at the Temple of the Elk. What is this place? Where is it? There is a bald hilltop not far from here, to the north of the capital. Its crown is entirely barren of life. The locals believe that rituals glorifying the dark gods were held there back in ancient times. There is no longer any trace of such rituals, but the air around the hilltop is heavy to the point of stifling. This place is like a rotting wound, closed but not healed. And this wound will undoubtedly open again. Tristan and I felt something approaching, something ominous. The curse will soon return to plague us once more. I swear by Erastil. I will go there as soon as I'm able. I would be happy to accompany you, but I would not expect to see anything new there at present. I agree with Tristan. We have been to this hilltop. It's barren, but filled with a dense atmosphere of unease. Well, what do you suggest? The curse will grow in strength, and we predict it will reach the peak of its strength in about 1 month. That's when we should visit the Bald Hilltop and resolve this issue. For now, we can only wait and prepare. We beg your pardon, Your Grace, for intervening with you getting the grasp of your barony. I'm sure you have even more pressing matters at hand right now.
I tire.
Okay, now it's time to take care of some basic kingdom setup. This sort of thing can get pretty time-consuming, but I'm eager to get back to the action, so we'll try to make this relatively quick. The first thing we have to do is name our kingdom, and you guys actually gave me some pretty decent suggestions. I decided we'd try to keep it relatively serious, so that said, welcome to the Kingdom of Silverhold. That was actually a name that Nobun4G4 suggested for our capital city, but I just like the sound of it. I also like the sound of The Recovered Lands, which was suggested by Benjamin Gray over on my Patreon. In the end, though, I decided that one was a little too wordy. We also have to rename our capital, which, by default, is called Tuskdale, but I think we'll call it Stag's Fall instead. After all, the Staglord did play a pretty important role in getting us this kingdom. Special thanks to Discount Lasers for that one. Let's head on in and get some basic infrastructure in place. Now this can be one of the more time-consuming parts of kingdom management, but in this case, I've already got a pretty good idea of what I'm going for. We don't really have a lot to work with just yet, but we'll start with the easy stuff. The blue slot and green slot can only be used for a pier and wall respectively, so we'll get those in place first. Then we've got this isolated spot over here, which is ideal for a watchtower or windmill. We'll focus on growing our economy for now. Next we have to build up the main town itself, so I think our best bet is to start with the Longhouse. It gets a lot of synergy bonuses, so we'll put that one right in the middle. Now we really just have to fill in the rest of the town. This'll build up our basic numbers, but we'll also want to pay special attention to any synergy bonuses that we can stack. We'll start with a tavern. That gets an extra bonus if we put it next to our longhouse. Likewise, we'll toss down a barracks as well. Anyway, that should be enough to give you a good general idea of how all this works, so let's fill in the rest of these gaps real quick, and then we can go take care of some other business. Oh, one thing we do have to remember is to not overspend here. We've got some other kingdom events that will require at least 150 building points, so we'll probably have to leave an empty space or two. The granary's really just a temporary structure. We'll put it in now, but we'll probably replace it with something better in the future. Okay, 165 points left. I think we're done here. Alright, now... well, like the tutorial is telling us, we need to assign some advisors. Again, we'll try to keep this relatively quick. We really just don't want anyone who's too chaotic or blatantly evil. We'll go with Valerie for our regent. Octavia's a good choice too, but we'll save her for our magister role. Then we've got... oh. Okay, well, we'll worry about that in a moment. Anyway, Tristan's our counselor. Not that we really had much choice there. We've actually got plenty of choices for general, but Rigongar's evil and Amiri's kind of a lunatic, so I think our best bet is Cecil Aldori here. We don't have any options for treasurer, so we'll just have to leave that slot open for now. Then we've got our High Priest, and I think we can all agree that we don't want the Chosen of Grotus in that role, so let's go with Jod instead. Erastel's probably a better fit for us anyway. Now we just need to expand our kingdom. Our reward for defeating the Stag Lord was technically just the Shrike Hills here, so the outskirts region is all unclaimed. Since we've already cleared that area out, there's nothing stopping us from just marching in and taking over. That'll take 2 weeks to finish once we get started, so let's make sure nothing else needs our attention before we make that commitment. I don't think we're ready for curses just yet, so we'll hold off on that. There's our first trade agreement too, but obviously we don't have a treasurer. This though, this we can actually take advantage of. Basically, Asvanki still wants to help us, but I need to send someone else to work out the details in my stead. It basically gets us the same reward we would have gotten at the feast if I had passed that diplomacy check, but in this case, we have to spend an extra week to get it. Then we have the choice of either tearing down or rebuilding the Temple of the Elk. That's your basic immediate gratification versus long-term investment sort of situation. We could get a small reward for tearing the place down, but I think we're better off actually rebuilding the place, once Jod's finished with his current task. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything we have to do, so let's claim the outskirts, and then we can get back to other stuff. Oh, wait. Actually, we do still have a couple of things we need to do. First of all, Jod should be back from his meeting with Asvanki. Looks like his meeting was successful, though I don't think you can actually fail that event. So that means we now have a free shrine we can put in our capital. Looks like we also have a couple of new events to take care of. Okay, looks like Harem and Tristan want to meet with Silverleaf. We'll take care of that in just a moment. Let's jump into Stag's Fall and get that shrine in place. There we go. We've got a few building points left, so I guess we should fill in that last space. Since we just put in a shrine, it's either going to be a monument or an herbalist's house. Thematically, I suppose an herbalist's house makes more sense. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's get back to the throne room. Tristan lowers his head. Greetings, Baron. I am sorry to take you away from your other affairs, but your people need you. When the stolen lands were freed from the Stag Lord, the people sighed in relief, but many are still confused by their swift change of fortune. Truth be told, they simply don't know what to think of their new Baron, nor what to expect of you. Will you be a fair ruler for all, or only for those of wealth and status? Let us reassure your people, show them where your favor truly rests. Perhaps a small celebration would help to win them over. Of course, you could spend the same amount on a luxurious dinner for the wealthiest of your barony, but I recommend organizing a fair for the common people, the ones upon whose shoulders your power truly resides. This is obviously one of our first formative decisions, and I think Tristian's got the right of it here. We shall hold a fair for the common people. I want them to know that I hold them closest to my heart. Tristian smiles warmly. We will hold a common celebration, where everyone will be welcome, including the poor and downtrodden. This is the greatest gift a ruler can give to his people. Addam looks embarrassed. He runs his fingers through his beard and clears his throat a few times, then speaks at last. I heard, not that it's important, but, well... He clears his throat again. I heard that an ancient trade road built by the dwarves of the Five Kings Mountains runs through these lands. I don't know what happened to them or where they went. Unforgiving time spares no one, but the road itself is still here. And possibly not only the road. Addam holds his beard in his fist. Well, Silverleaf, I have a request. If you find any dwarven ruins in the area, I'd like to see them with my own eyes. Why do you ask this? Addam fiddles with his beard again. I shouldn't, probably, but it's like a wound that's never healed. You know it will only hurt more, but you still need to scratch it. Of course it's foolish and vain, but still, I wish to look at them. Of course, Addam. If I find any dwarven ruins, I'll take you to them. Thank you, Silverleaf. Well... Thank you. Your Grace, I was at Oleg's trading post recently, and I noticed old Bakken just standing there, bored to death with nothing to do. This is most unfortunate. After all, the old grumbler is a very knowledgeable alchemist. However, he has no use for his skills, since the locals need nothing more than the simplest of healing potions. And then it struck me. Why don't you hire him as your court alchemist? His decoctions and tinctures would certainly prove most useful to you. Also, it might be cheaper than simply buying from him or some other merchant. Interesting. We're racking up a decent amount of quests here. An unusual petitioner approaches you, a tiefling girl who appears to be a foreigner from the south. She makes a courtly bow, but her face betrays a coy smile. Greetings to the ruler of these lands. My name is Casey. I come from the sands of Kadira. A special wind, the wind of opportunity and hidden treasure, has brought me to these lands. The tiefling waves her tail in excitement. And without all the polite words, here is what I want to say. I know the location of an ancient treasury, and I'm asking for the Baron's help to reach it and share in the loot. And what kind of treasury is it? The remains of an ancient Taldan settlement, destroyed long ago by the forces of nature. My friends came across an ancient chronicle that referred to this settlement, and I managed to locate the ruins. But they couldn't get inside, being too afraid. These lands are dangerous. Why don't you just go there yourself? My friends who visited the place said that it's filled with monsters and wild animals. I shouldn't like going there all alone. Besides, it would be wrong not to tell the ruler of a treasure found in his lands. Fair enough. We must discuss dividing the loot before we proceed. The girl nods. Of course. Truth be told, I'm only interested in one thing. An artifact called the Disc of the Eclipse, which is supposed to be in this treasury, if my informants are not mistaken. I claim no rights to the rest of the loot. But who knows? Perhaps the Baron will have an overwhelming desire to reward his helpful assistant? Great. I like adventure. The tiefling bows again, tracing patterns on the floor with her tail. In that case, I will take leave and prepare for the expedition. I've already rented a house in your wonderful city. The Baron is welcome to visit me any time, when you're ready to discuss our plans. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to that. Alright guys, we're just past the 30-minute mark, and I'm actually running a bit short on time at the moment, so let's go ahead and call things a bit early. We didn't get quite as much done as I would have liked, but I think we still made a fair amount of progress. We'll hit the pause button for now, but we'll pick up here next time as we get to know the storyteller, explore the city, and have a follow-up conversation with Casey. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official Discord channel, the fan-run wiki, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. Links are in the description.